Hi guys, very good evening to you. Welcome to the video number 287 and my name is Ajay. I'm going to talk about today how to deal with the errors, and there is a specific error type which we are going to discuss in this video. This is really going to be very interesting video, and this will also give you the very good understanding on the errors, because generally I have observed this that people know how to use the errors in the Excel VBA, but not to the extent they are supposed to know it. So we can definitely go ahead and we can check out that what all possibilities we can have, how we can modify the codes whenever we have the errors, right? So in this video we are also going to learn about two things. That the first, as I said, that we are going to learn the on error go to, this is the statement basically which you write, but in this statement also we have two conditions. One is the resume and the resume next. So I will give you the examples, and then we will see that which option is the best. It depends upon the situation. Okay, for those who are watching the channel for the first time, guys, we have 42 different playlists on Excel VBA, Access and Access VBA. These are all the playlists. You can go there and click, and you will find almost every a video on every subject, right? So if you are a beginner, if you are an intermediate level of programmer, or you really know VBA very well, I have got everything for you, right? You just need to scroll and surf the videos by clicking on these different playlists. So now the first thing which I want to tell you today is that first of all, we will like to create an error. We will deliberately generate the error, and once we have the error, then we will go ahead and see that what all possibilities we have to deal with the errors. So I go to the Visual Basic, and let's say we'll write the program here, maybe in this module 7. So we'll start the code, and so let me just write this error handler. So basically errors, guys, we use these error handlers where you are pretty much sure that the error can come. Okay, error can come, and then if the error comes, code should not stop. It should go to some particular area, and it should execute some chunk of lines there, and then come back to the original code. This is what we are going to learn, right? So remember, we know that the error can come. Now for example, I give you a situation. You see that I have here a lot of sheets actually, right? We have the sheet 2, we have the sheet 3, data 1, and there are sheets. Now what we want to do is, I want to display the sheet name on every cell one by one, right, using the collection loop. Now this is not a basic video. First of all, I want to clear this, right? If you don't have any idea about the errors, if you don't have well, I will explain the error here, but still I would say that if you don't have any idea about the loops, how to run the loops, then first please go ahead and watch Excel VBA collection loops and Excel VBA loops. These are the two playlists which you got to watch first, and then come back to this video. Otherwise it will be difficult for you to understand, because I'm not here going to talk about the loops. I'm here only to discuss about the errors. So our job is to print the name of the sheet on every cell, every the A1 cell actually of every sheet, and this is how we just it's a very simple loop we are going to create. Now first of all, I will quickly write the code. So this is how you define the code in order to run the loop. So this is your code, guys, collection loop, right? If you have watched those videos, then, or if you are a advanced level of the programmer, then I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Now what is the thing is, I'm going to select the sheets, and in every range A1 I'm going to actually display the name of the sheet. This is what exactly we want to do, right? And let me delete the sheets, because there are a lot of sheets here, so we can quickly delete some sheets here. So let me just delete that, right? So we have got here now 5 or 6 sheets. Now if I run this code, first of all I want to tell you how the code is going to work. If you look at the code, on every A1 we will have the name. We have the sheet 3 here, then it goes to the next sheet, and there in the A1 we have the data 1, and then so on. then we have the variables. You see that it's a variable name. So, and here we will have the sheet 7. You can see that in the A1 you have the sheet 7, and then finally we will have the sheet 1 here, right? And the loop is finished. Now the point is, first of all I want to delete all these sheet names because we will run the code again. Now guys, what is the task in this exercise? Now the task is that let us say that if there is any sheet which is hidden. For example, I hide this sheet. I right click and I'm gonna hide this, right? And there are a couple of more sheets, for example, they are hidden. Now when you run this code, what happened, the sheet is selected, sheet 3, and you have your sheet name there, very nice. But the next time the sheet which ideally it is supposed to select, that is hidden. So what will happen, method of the select of the object worksheet failed. So basically the error says error number is 1004, and it says that this is not the the correct method. It is failed actually. It is not able to select, and you know the reason, because you don't have the sheet available. You got to make it visible, right? So let me end this. Now what I'm going to actually talk about in this video is that if you have this error 1004, which would always come if the sheet is going to be hidden, right? That's a specific error. So we can do one thing. In the top of the line, this is what you can write on the top of the line. Remember, right? On the top means just after the sub. So on error, go to, then you write ERRR, right? Put the colon here. That's it. And then you got to write, somewhere after the next where your loop finishes, right? You got to write that ERR here, and then whatever you will write here, that will be executed in case the error comes, right? Now this ERR, it can be anything, guys. You can give it a name. For example, I can write my name as well, Ajay. So, but you have to change that Ajay here also. Don't mix up this within the with this loop code. Loop is a separate thing, and this is absolutely a separate thing, right? So here, now what we want to do now, for example, if I simply write here message box and I say that sheet is invisible, okay, or sheet is hidden. Let's say I say this sheet is hidden, and now if I run this code, so if I'm gonna run this code, you see what will happen. This is how first we are on the sheet, which is sheet 3, and then after the next sheet is going to be selected, and you see that the next sheet did not, we could not select that because the sheet was hidden, that. So instead of going to the instead of generating the error, it actually went to the Ajay, which makes a sense because you said that if there is any error, then you got to go to the Ajay portion. So here it will say that sheet is hidden, okay, and then end sub, the macro finishes, right? The macro finishes, and this is what exactly you really didn't actually expect, because the thing is you wanted to print the name of every sheet. So if some sheet is hidden, that's fine, but it should go to the next sheet also. This is exactly we actually were looking forward. So now what we're gonna do here, so if you have the message box sheet is hidden, the code finishes obviously, because after this line obviously it will go to the enter, but that's something we don't want. We want to go back to this area, we want to go back to this, jump back to this for each loop, and then we would like to select the next sheet. This is how we would like to do the things, right? So now here I'm going to write one word. Let me show you. I'm going to write here first of all resume, okay? Resume means resume the code again, don't go to the end sub, right? So if I run the code again, obviously first sheet is already selected, so we will not see any difference. It is just going to print the sheet 3 again, overwriting the same line again. Now the next time the sheet is hidden and the error would come, but instead of generating the error, it would go to this error area and it would say that sheet is hidden, right? So once the sheet is hidden, now look at this resume code. Now when you run this line, you will be back on the same code which given you the error, which generated the error. Remember, this is the line which generated the error, and reason is because the sheet which actually it has to select, it is hidden. So again you will have the error, and again you will have the sheet is hidden. Again it is going to resume from the same line which generated the error, right? So this keeps coming in, and this is absolutely not making any sense to us, right? Because it is a endless infinite loop. If I'm going to press F5 without debugging this code, let's say if we would have pressed F5, the code would have never ended, right? And which is absolutely absurd. You can't do that, right? Because then you're obviously you would have to stop your macro, and generally it happens, you got to forcefully close the Excel workbook, and chances are there that if you have been working on your Excel and you are doing some changes, they may not have been saved, right? So this is not the something we want. Resume is for sure is not the word. Then what is the solution? The solution is, why don't you write resume next? Let us see what is the difference between this resume next and resume. Okay, resume, it takes you back to the same line which generated the error. Okay, so now we are going to again use let me just be on the variable sheet, okay, so that we can see that the code is running. Now you can see that we got the sheet 3 selected, and obviously sheet 3 name is printed. Next, now this will give the error, and we have the error, sheet is hidden. Now look at this line, resume next. Now guys, this is what I was talking about. When you say resume next, the line which generated the error, that is not going to be executed, right? It will start from the next line, and you know that now this line is not going to execute any error, not going to generate any error, right? So here we will have range a1 dot value equals to ws name, which is data1. Data1 is the same sheet which is hidden, right? So if you run this line, well, we understand the difference between resume and resume next. Now resume means from the same line which given the error. Resume next means from the next line, to the from the line which generated the error, right? But the point is, your code should also be correct. Now if I run this line, this says data1, which is incorrect. That's something I never wanted, right? So if I execute this line, you see that it will execute for the rest of the sheets perfect. I have got the name of all the sheets in the A1. Next, and then because all the sheets are covered, your loop is finished. Now at the end of the day, when the loop is finished, this will again be coming sheet is hidden, and then resume next. So this is completely messed up code, right? So we have to do a lot of work here. The first thing, if the loop is going to finish, that means my job is done. Then what I will do, I will write here exit sub. Just exit from the sub. I don't need to then go to the Ajay part, right? So in this way the macro will stop. That's the first thing. What is the next thing? Now next thing is also very important. Well, as you see here, it actually printed the name of the hidden sheet. It shouldn't have done that, right? So how you wanna overcome this issue? Well, let us do one thing. Let us declare one variable which is check as, let's say, long. Okay, now what I want to do is, whenever we have the error, obviously this Ajay portion will be executed, right? So if this is going to be executed, then I can do one thing. Why don't we just write here check equals to 1 only for this particular case, right? And then here when resume next is going to execute this line, because ws.select is going to give you the error, then you can do one thing, guys. Then you can simply write here if check equals to 1. Then what you need to do, well, if check equals to 1, that means the error is there. It's coming from the error area, right? And that's why we have a check equals to 1. So in that case, we don't want to do anything. We don't want to print the sheet name, because that's the error, right? So what we can do, we can simply write here do nothing, just to give you the understanding, do nothing. Okay, and afterwards I will write else. Well, if the check is not equals to 1, then you know that we got to print the name of the sheet in the A1 cell, right? So again, let me quickly delete everything from here. Let me delete this as well, and let's just delete everything. Yeah, okay. Now let us start the code. So we're going to start the code, and there we go, F8. Next, without for, I think I forgot to write the end if. We got to write the end if with the if. So I have uploaded the videos, guys, on the if function as well, the basic level, the basic videos on if, how to start with the if function. You got to go in the Excel VBA loops playlist. That's it, nothing else. Okay. All right, so we got this now, and we are just going to run this. Let me just increase the height of this, and we can see the complete code. There we go. So we selected the sheet 1, and check is absolutely not equals to 1. It is empty, it is 0, right? So definitely it will go in the else mode. Now in the else mode, what will happen? We will have the worksheet name in the A1, and we got the sheet 3 name. Perfect. Next, now time to select the next sheet, which is hidden. So you will have the error, and it should go to the Ajay, and as expected, Ajay portion is going to be executed. Sheet is hidden. Now here check will have a value from 0 to 1, and resume next. So resume next will take this line, will take this arrow to this line, if check, right? Now that check is 1, so that means if the check is 1, then I don't want to do anything. I really don't want to do anything. I just want to go to the next sheet. So when you run this, you see that nothing will happen, and end if, it will go in the end if, and then then from here it will pick up again the things. Next, now next is to select the next sheet. So we have got the next sheet. Now that check is actually equals to 1, right? So if check is equals to 1, then what will happen here in this line, we again will have a problem, because now we are not able to write this call function here, right? So the next, now what will happen, every time the sheet will be selected, but you will not be able to print anything, and the reason is quite simple, because this check now is equals to 1, so it is not going to satisfy, right? Every time the check is going to be equals to 1. So what we can do, well, I think if you have seen my all the videos on the if, then we have done these we have made so many loop designs, and these kind of things, these tricky things we have done a lot, right? So I think we can do one thing. Let me reset the code. So the idea is, if you have a check equals to 1 here, right, then the next time when you have the end if, after the end if, the check should again be 0, so that the next time when the loop runs, it should go in the else, and it should print the name of it, isn't it? Right? Well, let's go ahead and let us try to run this, and then we will see. So again, we are going to start this, and so there we go. The first sheet is selected. Okay, check is absolutely 0, we know that, so it will go in the else mode, and it is on the else mode now. So we will have the sheet name, which is sheet 3. It is already there, so no problem, we know that. Now the check is again going to be 0. It is already 0, well, doesn't make any difference. Next, now this line will give us the error, and then this sheet is hidden would come, and then now the value of the check is 1. Resume next. Now we have a check equals to 1, so that means it will go in the then mode, but in the then mode I have not written anything, so directly it will go in the end if. Now guys, this is important line I was talking about, that before it goes to the next sheet, we are going to convert this check again back to 0, right? So you have a check again 0. Now once the check is 0, then the next time when the sheet is selected, which is called function sheet, this will fail. Check is 0, it is not equals to 1, so it will go in the else mode, and this is exactly we needed it. Now in this range A1, you will have a sheet name which is called call function, and as you see, we got the call function, right? Again, check will again check is again going to be 0. So now this time the rest of the code will work very smooth. So you see that we have the sheet name coming. Next, now all the sheets are covered, your loop is finished. Now when the loop is finished, you will say exit sub. Exit sub means macro, it will exit from it, and you can see that macro actually has exit from this now, so it is not going to read this error called Ajay. I hope it is making a sense, right? Now I can do quickly one more thing. First of all, let me just select all the sheets and just remove the A1 from here. Okay, and right click and ungroup them. This is how you select the sheets. when you want to work on all the sheets in one step, you can use it, you know, just select the sheet, press shift key and select the last sheet. All the sheets will be selected, and then you can, whatever you will write on the cell, it will be printed on, you know, every sheet cell. So now what I actually was thinking, let's you know, let us do one more testing. Let us hide this as well, right? Let us see if it is going to work on the two sheets or not. So from here I will start again, guys, and so there we go. Sheet is selected, check is 0, so I will have the sheet name. Perfect, sheet 3 is there. Now check, I have changed it to 0. Now this is going to select the second sheet. Second sheet is hidden. You have the error, sheet is hidden. Now you can also do one thing, I believe. You sheet is hidden, and you can also concatenate it with the sheet name, so that, you know, we can see that which sheet name is hidden. So I press it, sheet is hidden, data 1, right? I should have actually created some space here like this. Let me just run it again. Sheet is hidden, data 1, right? You can put the hyphen also. I mean, that's all, I mean, all up to you. All right, so now here the variable check is going to have one value, resume next. Now check is 1, so obviously we will not write anything on the A1 because we have already written there. And if check again is 0, next. Now we will select the next sheet, which is call function, and you know that in the call function I will have the sheet name. And if again check is 0, now this line I think is again going to give you the error because this is the second sheet which we have hidden, right? There we go, right? So now which sheet is hidden? You can see that sheet is hidden variables. Wow, this is really great. This is working, right? You have the sheet name as well. Great. Now again, once I have the check, you see that the check value is 0, right? Because of this check equals to 0, because this was it, this we had executed. Now again, this is going to have a 1 value. Resume next. Again, it will resume from the same line because this ws.select is going to give you the error every time if the sheets are hidden, right? So here now what we will do, check is again 1, so we will do nothing. Just simply it is going to execute the then part where you have not written anything. And again check will be 0, so it is going to select the next sheet, and in the next sheet you have again the check 0 for because of this line. So you again, you know, go to the else part, and in the else part you have the sheet name, and then the last, which is sheet 1, and check 0, everything finished, loop is finished because here you have all the sheets covered. Exit sub, bingo. So guys, this is how you can write the resume next and resume codes. Okay, now if you want to understand the example on the resume, under what situations, you know, we can actually think of the resume statement. Well, resume we can use where you want to start from the same line and you want to rectify it. Okay, for example, let me unhide the things first, and there we go. Okay, now let me give you the example. Now for example, what happened, you have here sub, and again error handler example 2. Let's say we're going to write this 2. You can't use the special character. So now I'm going to quickly write that the first line on error, go to let's say this time I'll simply write ERR, right? Okay, now what we need to do is we need to select the sheet. Okay, let's say I write here the sheet and the name of the sheet, which is sheet3.select. okay, fine. In the error, if the error comes, which means that if the sheet 3 doesn't exist in this, let's say, then what would you like to do? Then you would like to come back to the same line and you would like to create it. For example, this is what we need, right? Because after we select the sheet 3, we would like to let's say again write the name in the, let's say, A10 this time. Okay, this is just example, you know, the very basic example. You may not need this kind of a example, I mean, you may not be able to use this example in your day-to-day, Excel work, but it's all about, clearing the concepts. Okay, so I'm going to write here the sheet name. So the active sheet name, let's say active sheet dot name. This is what I will write. Okay, so first of all, in the error here, if the error comes, let's say, so message box, I would say that sheet does not exist. I put the message box here, right? And if the error is not there, then it should not go to the ERR part. It should immediately exit from this. That is my planning basically. Now you know that in the sheet 3 exists, so we're gonna run this, and you should have a name of the active sheet. Active sheet is obviously what? It's sheet 3, right? So we should see the name of the sheet 3 in the A10, and as expected we got it, and the macro is stopped, right? Now if I change the name of the sheet, for example I name it HH, okay, and I delete this. Now when you run this line, what will happen? This line will give you the error. So if this line will give you the error, it should go to the ERR, and as expected, sheet does not exist. Now obviously you would like to do something here before it goes to the enter. So what we can do now, here I have an idea. Let's add that sheet. Okay, sheets.add. Okay, before before, after, and count. That's all up to you. How do you want to do it? Okay, so before means that you can add the sheet before the sheet 1 also. So in this you can write it like this. You can write the sheet 1, and then whatever the active sheet we will have, active sheet dot name, that is going to be equals to sheet 3. This is my planning. And once the sheet 3 is added, you can go back to this same line again. You will have to select it. So here I will, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna write here resume, not the resume next, but the resume. This is what I actually would like to do. Okay, so let us run the code. Now this line is going to give us the error. We got the sheet does not exist. Now this should add the sheet before the sheet 1. Okay, and you see that the sheet is added. Now the sheet which is added, it has to be an active sheet name, which is sheet 3. So you see that the sheet 3 name is also added. Resume. Now resume from where? Resume from the same line, because now the sheet 3 is created. Now once we have the sheet 3 created, in the A10 I can go ahead and write the this name. And now once I have the name, that's it, right? So basically it means that if you're writing here anything and the name doesn't exist, so what you can do is you can get it created. So I was just trying to explain you the concept of the resume. You see that in the resume, it immediately go to it went to this line, the same line which given the error. So it is important for you to rectify first that line. So whenever you have error, you got to first rectify it if you need to use the resume. Otherwise go for the resume next if you want to simply skip that line, right? So this is all about the on error GoTo handler. We call it like GoTo handler, and in the handler you can use two options, guys. One is the resume and the second is the resume next, right? So thank you so much, and I really value for your time. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, my request to you, please subscribe to the channel. And you have all these amazing 280 videos for you, even more than that now, on Excel VBA, Access and Access VBA. Anything you finding difficult to understand, let me know about it. I will upload the video on the same. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day.